guys, so I told you I wanted to take you around the space. Like, I am not lying when I say this is my laundry room. Like, that's our back space for the electric there. That's my furnace. It's actually a laundry rack with laundry on it. And then what they have for me is this little spot set up. And we painted it. We made it for comics and stuff. This is some of my favorite artists in the whole world who are wonderful enough to give me this cool stuff. That was from an amazing young lady who dates my kid. Puts up with him, dates him, whatever. Some of my collectible stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so that's like become a little library space. It used to be where all the comic books were. Jack did laundry. So there's laundry hanging. And then my little space here. I monkeyed with the little ring light and tried to get it working. So I hope it's kind of cool. I mean, it'll work out, I guess, for now. We'll see what today's video looks like. But there it is. Yeah. Not working with much, but we're working it, man. And it's cozy, and it's all mine, so I feel blessed. Good morning, friends. Hope everyone's doing well today. I hope this finds you happy, healthy, excited, giddy, stoked for a new week, man. We're rolling into a new one, and I'm excited. I know that I've got fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything I can cross is crossed. Got a new bed coming tomorrow, hopefully, and that's going to make a big difference. Today I was doing some reading in the old 24-hour day book, and it put me in mind of something in the early part of the book here, about halfway down the initial meditation, reading, what have you. It reads, "We never could decide whether to take the drink. I'll start again, I'm sorry. We never could decide whether or not to take the drink. We always took the drink. And since we couldn't do anything about it ourselves, we put the whole drinking problem into the hands of God. We turned the whole thing over to that power greater than ourselves." And it just put me in mind of a moment in my own life where I was in recovery. I was in a rehab facility in Windsor. And you were given a pamphlet when you came in, and the pamphlet read, "Ask, listen, do what you're told." It was the kind of the three things that you were expected to do going forward in this facility. And right there in the front page of the pamphlet, first thing you read as soon as you walked in the doors was, "Ask, listen, do what you're told." And that was a lesson I didn't quite get at that point. It certainly came to me easier when Joe, one of my very first mentors in AA, told me to hit my knees and pray for the guy that raped me. And I couldn't wrap my head around that. And I think I've spoken to that in earlier videos. How could I pray for this dude that did this thing to me, that robbed me of my innocence and sent me out on this path of what felt like perversion at the time? I'm 53 years old, and I'm just now entering a healthy place in my life regarding that aspect of who I am. So think about that. Some of the most simple human things that I felt or experienced felt perverse to me, and it was because this man robbed me of my innocence when I was 7, 8, again when I was 9, 10, you know what I mean? It was on and on. So how could I possibly hit my knees and pray for this guy? And it occurred to me, right, when I was in rehab, I was told to ask, listen, and do what I'm told. When I came to the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous, I was asking a lot. I was listening a lot, but here was a man telling me to do something. Would I do what I was told? Well, yeah, I did. And 25 years later, every morning, my knees hit the floor before my feet do. And every night, my knees are on the floor before I drag my ass into bed again. That routine has not changed since Joe told me, go pray for that guy. I did what I was told. And that's what we're talking about here in this meditation. We give it over to a power greater than ourselves. We finally realize, hey man, I can't do this. I need someone to help me. So you do what you're told to do. And you give up. You just throw in the towel. And you submit to something more powerful than yourself. You'd done it when you were practicing. Now is the time to do it in healing. I share these things with you this morning because as I was reading my meditation, and it spoke about God, and then it goes on later in the meditation to discuss that quiet moment with God, that quiet recognition with God every day. Today's going to be a spiritual one. Understand, let me just put a pin in that for a second and humbly ask you to appreciate that this is my faith journey. It's not yours, it's no one else's, it's mine. My faith journey, as I've shared with you, encompasses as much philosophy as it does matters of faith. It encompasses as much comic books as it does actual real scripture. I mean, my faith journey has been reading and studying. When I read a comic book, I read. I try to connect with the author. So when I'm using terms like God and faith, they're very specific to my own journey, and I would never suppose to even impress them on someone else. I simply share my own experience in the hopes that I can lend you something that you may be able to benefit from. So I go back to those quiet moments with God, those quiet moments where I can reconnect with Him, with her, with God, with this power greater than me. And in the meditation today, it spoke about the idea that it's just a momentary reconnection of my spirit to the Spirit of God, to the Spirit of the universe, that thing that's more powerful in me. And more often than not, I find myself kind of, once again, beating myself up over that, because I hit my knees in the morning and I might be there for 30 seconds, I might be there for 3 minutes. It's never anything that I can stick a pin on and say, bang, that's what my meditation looks like. It's very, very much subject to the moment, and more often than not, a very quick hit my knees, reconnect, reestablish that connection, and then move into my day. And it was reaffirming to read that in my meditation today. And I wanted to share with you, if I may, why it's so imperative for me to reconnect every day. I'm just going to quickly bring this guy up here, and I'm going to share it with you, if you'll indulge me. It's the reading that Sara and I chose for my wedding. So understand that the way the story plays out, I had spent 2 90-day periods back to back at this recovery home, 6 months. I came out of the recovery home, and was what many in recovery would call white knuckling it. I was staying sober day at a time. I had given up on meetings entirely. I had found a new job. I had reconnected with an old girlfriend, and I was going to save the world one pizza delivery at a time. And, be a rent-a-dad to her kid and do all those glorious things that, young 20-year-old men who think that they know everything do. It fell apart quick. It really did. The job stuck because they were wonderful people and an incredible family, but through this job I made a whole new circle of friends and stumbled into my very first drink 6 months dry at a place called Tops of Windsor, and in that place was Sara St. Care, and my life started that day. We were both very faithful. We were both very active in our Roman Catholic Church, and one of the biggest differences that the average outsider might recognize between Catholicism and, say, an evangelical faith is that Catholics don't necessarily spend a whole lot of time in Scripture. I mean, in the modern age, there's definitely Bible study groups. There's small groups. That's a phenomenon that Sara and I were very, very much a part of early on with our own small group. Having said that, though, Bible study is far more prevalent in an evangelical faith, as I understand it anyways, Baptist, Lutheran, things like that. Bible study is far more prevalent in those faiths than it ever was in my experience as a Roman Catholic. And it was something that very much intrigued me because even in the recovery home, I was the guy that was getting in trouble for reading everything, not just the accepted literature, if you will. And it's a place that Sara and I connected on very much. So when it came time for our wedding and we were asked about what readings we wanted to have, this was the reading, and it wasn't something that we were able to pick from a book. It was something that we agreed upon. And I keep it to this day tucked right in here. This is the original note that I made the day that we decided on it. The original note that we gave to the parish priest that married us. And it's from the book of Isaiah. It's Isaiah 40, 28 to 31, 43, 18 and 19, and 46, 4. And some people may be familiar with it, but I'm going to read it to you without all the other stuff, just like it's one big open thought. And it goes like this. Whew. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. That's the New International interpretation, New International version, if you will. That has been the foundation of the person I've endeavored to become from the day I met Sara. That faith, that belief in the new thing, in that power that will sustain me, that power greater than myself. Certainly alcohol, drugs, The life I had before Sara, it had limitless power over me. It reduced me to nothing and made me a parasite on the people I loved and held most dear. Released from the power that those things had over me and given over to this power greater than myself that I now understand to be God. Here I sit, 25 years clean and sober. My children are about ready to release their first ever full-length album. I have a wife who is a legitimate medical oddity in that she should be in a wheelchair, but she's not. I moved 2+ hours away from everything I've ever known. We have a home that's not just brick and mortar. It's a home. It's unfathomable to consider where I was and where I've come, because Alcoholics Anonymous and recovery gave me a chance to reinvent myself and taught me that if I ask, listen, and do what I'm told, I can find a brand new life. And the power that these things once had over me falls away like ashes in the wind. And the power that I'm able to gain, the freedom I'm able to gain from faith in a power greater than myself, is immeasurable. I'm going to hit the stop button on this one. I feel like I ran on and on today, and I just want to kick ass into a brand new week, guys. I really do. I'm excited for this new setup. I'm excited for all the things that are coming forward. I'm excited to finally put something together with this, plus the notebook, right? 5 reasons I got sober. That's going to be some neat videos, God willing. And who else knows what happens. I'm really grateful that you allowed me to share some of the scripture that's near and dear to me with you today. And I hope that this one's a cohesive one. And I hope that it touches you the same way this affects me and my wife and our family. So with that, have a great week, guys, and take care. It works if we work it, one day at a time. Be good, guys. Have a great one.